Longest Day, Longest Night. Chapter 9, Soul Infinita, by Rainbow Double Dash. Corona's blank eyes widened a little in surprise at Luna's statement. Sister, wherefore art thou calling me by such a fault tile? Hast thou 1,000 years slowed thy memory? Celestia, dear sister, though I recall that thou wouldst call me Tia in thy more endearing moments. You are not my sister! Luna exclaimed as she moved, charging forward, horn flaring with magic, wings spread wide as she leapt for Corona. The white alicorn's horn glowed as Luna's did so, however. The Princess of the Moon was seized in a white aura, thrown to the ground, a force that would have shattered any other pony's bones. Corona's eyes had narrowed as she spread her wings wide. She intoned as she began walking forward. Tiny flames would spark to life and then die beneath her hooves with each step she took. I see that thou remain resentful of my power and rightful station. I had hoped that the millennium I have spent imprisoned has been but a mistake on thy part, but it seems thy treacherous nature remains. How did you escape? Luna demanded as she struggled to rise. Corona's magic flared, however, keeping the princess firmly pressed to the ground beneath her as she leaned close to the darker alicorn, a sad look on her face. Luna, my poor, covetous sister, I am the sun. I am the elder, the rightful ruler of the earth. Thou hast great power, but I am power, the burning fire of creation itself. Thou could never overcome me without the corrupted elements of harmony, and even with them, thou couldst do naught but seal away me for a time. Corona withdrew from her sister, wings still spread wide. 1,000 years is not so long a period, Luna, for beings such as we. 'Twas but the barest moment to mine eyes. It took no more than that moment to break thy prison locks. Locks I had dared not to believe, however, that thou intended to make permanent. Corona began walking in circles around Luna, eyes still focused upon her. No, I hope that thou wouldst see reason, that thou wouldst understand that I was meant to rule over the day and the night. I am wiser, I am stronger, I am the sun. But thou hast a place in my realm, sister. If thou wouldst only see to remove the veil of jealousy from thy sight, I am meant to not having thy creative spark, thy creative artistic abilities. Thy nights are far more beautiful than any I could construct, and it would warm thy heart to have thee yet manage them in my name. Thou wouldst even retitle thy title of princess, for it belongs to thee by right, as the title of queen is mine, as is the land of Equestria and all who inhabit it. Corona stopped pacing around Luna, coming to stop directly in front of her and tucking her wings back against her body. The white alicorn's horn flared with magic once more, lifting Luna up, placing her on her hooves in front of her. Corona took several steps backwards, and the aurora around Luna disappeared as Corona's head raised slightly, as he extended one long foreleg. Kneel before thy queen, sister. Kiss my hoof and swear obedience. We shall consign all this to the realm of unpleasant memories and dwell upon the matter no further. Luna's horn flared with magic, but Corona once more was the faster. Luna again was wrapped in white magic and forced to her knees before she could launch even a single spell. Corona, for her part, seemed badly surprised, only disappointed. Unfortunate, she observed. But perhaps 1,000 years of ruling alone has only heightened thine arrogant perception. Very well. I shall have to take more extreme measures with thee. Corona spread her wings wide, as Luna continued to fight in vain against her arcane bonds. The white alicorn's horn began to glow brightly. Thou art treacherous, covetous, in all ways be unbecoming of a sister of the Queen of Equestria, Corona proclaimed. And so, though it pains me greatly to do so, I am forced, for the good of Equestria, to banish thee from the land. Thine exile shall be for a term not less than 1,001 years. In the sight of thine exile shall be the moon itself. Thou shalt for a millennium look down upon the earth and see the glory that I, Celestia, bring to it. A covering look appeared on Corona's face, an utterly alien expression for a being with blank eyes. But before thine exile begins, I will gift thee once more with the sound of thy subjects' voices, the subjects thou residest for over 1,000 years. Perhaps thou shalt begin to understand thine error once the praise for the return of the rightful queen reaches thine ears. Corona turned to Luna, raising her head high and closing her eyes as he let the silent spell she had cast over Ponyville dissipate, only to drink in the eager cries of terror and shouts of horror at what the multitude of ponies were witnessing. Corona's eyes fluttered open at the sound, though they remained without pupil or iris. A look of doubt appeared on her features. What? She demanded, looking around as though seeing the ponies for the first time. Many had fled utterly, while some remained close, paralyzed with fear, or else trying to work up the courage to do so. Something to protect their princess and their loved ones, although what, none of them had even begun to guess. Each time Corona's gaze would fall upon a pony, they would whimper or recoil in horror, or find whatever small courage they had managed to get either fail and simply turn tail and flee. Nay! Corona cried, taking several steps forward. Luna redoubled her efforts to free herself, but a glare from Corona and a reinforcement of magic kept her in place. Ponies! Wherefore do you flee in fear? Screams of delight should be reaching mine ears, not screams of terror! The white alicorn punctuated this remark by slamming her right hoof down upon the cobblestone street with such force that it sent a 10-foot crack straight forward. The white alicorn's horn glowed brightly, and her wings flapped once. Instantly, scores of ponies were seized in her grasp and dragged forward, even those who had hidden inside buildings. Corona was careful to guide them out to open doors or windows and place them all in front of her, holding them on their hooves and in place. This easily doubled the wails of abject horror over and over again. One word reached the alicorn's white ears. Corona! It's Corona! Corona closed her eyes and grit her teeth. Cease your cries! Your queen to command silence! She shouted, not merely enhancing her voice, but using magic to adjust its tone and inflection to be one that most ponies simply couldn't disobey. Shortly thereafter, not instantly, but quickly enough, the screams and cries down to a low-level murmur of whimpers and held-back tears. Corona looked around at the ponies frozen in place before her. Explain yourselves, she commanded. After 1,000 years, your rightful queen has returned. She approached one pony, getting close to the stallion. Wherefore do you run? She demanded as he flinched and tried to move away. Corona snorted in disgust and turned to another. Wherefore do you find cause for fear? Luna stopped struggling against their bonds, breathing heavily. She looked to Corona, and the faintest grin appeared on her features. It was the same 1,000 years ago, Corona. Don't you remember? Corona turned quickly, glaring at Luna. The filth! The spittle! She exclaimed. Such lies are unbecoming of thee, dear sister! 1,000 years ago, 'twas thine actions that made the ponies rise against me. Thy corrupting influence in my court! You mean the court that you had dragged from their homes, kicking and screaming? Luna asked. No, wait. That was earlier. You were referring to the court that ed-handed you only because you held their families hostage. Their disobedience was better asserted, such a matter. But always I had the love of the common pony. You mean to tell me you don't remember having to threaten to burn down Catalan and start over? Like a phoenix risen from the ashes. If every pony in the city didn't line up for your possession that one time. Thine influence was strong in the capital, but the rural areas, where the revolution began, it would have gone no further had the royal guard not immediately switched sides as soon as I had stolen the elements from you. Be silent! Corona shouted. The aurora surrounded Luna, doubling in size and forcing her to the ground. She cried out in pain. I should have known. 1,000 years may not be long enough for an alicorn. But for ponies, thou hast a millennium to sow thy lies among thy subjects, to turn me into not more than a monster in their eyes. I didn't need you. You did that fine yourself. Luna's horns glowed, and though she did not escape Corona's magical grip, she managed to force herself to her hooves and look Corona with blank eyes. You had all you could ever want, but you wanted more. You tried to take everything. You weren't the queen, you were a despot. You ceased being my sister. It became something that I needed to. That I had to stop! Her eyes narrowed. You aren't my Tia. You don't deserve that name. You are Corona, the tyrant's son, a monster! Corona's eyes widened in so blatant an insult. Enough! The life of a pony is that of a gnat. As thou hast 1,000 years to sow thy lies, so shall I have 1,000 to expunge them. Whatever paltry edifices thou hast raised in my absence, I shall tear down, and raise glorious monuments of my own. All thou hast accomplished shall turn to ash in the fires of rebirth thou shalt spread across Equestria. No pony shall remember thy lies, nor even thy reign. Thou shalt be forgotten! Corona's horn flared, the light growing painfully bright. Thy banish begins now, Luna! Luna tried, one more time, to escape from Corona's magical aurora, but her struggles were in vain as white light encompassed her completely. She opened her mouth to shout some final defiance, but the sound of Corona's magic drowned out whatever she had tried to say as she shot straight upwards, towards the sun and the moon that lay hidden behind it, disappearing into the unnatural midday's glare. Corona watched the white comet disappear into the sky, her face holding a bizarre, manic mixture of grim determination and sadistic glee, mane and tail billowing like flames caught in a breeze, but which were too determined to be put out by it. At length, Corona turned around, looking over the ponies and letting her white aura of magic fade from them. All were too paralyzed by fear to run, instead only huddling together, trying to protect each other from Corona's gaze. Who among you leads this settlement? She demanded, stamping a hoof. Who represents my sister's court? Step forward and present thyself to thy returned queen! There was a long pause before a beige-colored earth pony began creeping forward, head low but eyes locked at Corona and fighting back tears of fright. I am the mayor of Ponyville, your majesty, the pony said as she came forward to began to bow. Well, my name is... Wait! Corona blinked at the interruption as a light blue unicorn, wearing a tall, purple, star-studded hat, and matching cape, as well as a blue shirt and deep purple coat, pursed her way to the crowd. On reaching it, and having no more ponies between her and Corona's glare, she paused for a moment, and still regretted her actions, but then grit her teeth and made her way forward. I am the one you want. There would appear to be some confusion as to who leads this settlement, Corona observed. Explain. Trixie stepped forward. You asked 2 questions, Trixie noted. Who's in charge? And who represents Luna? The unicorn nodded to the mayor. She's the elected mayor of Ponyville. But if you are looking for the representative of Luna's Night Court, that would be me. Trixie ground her teeth together as she closed her eyes. Don't. Please, Your Majesty, don't hurt her. Don't hurt any pony here. If you're looking to destroy Luna's government, then I am the one you want. There was a long silence, broken only by the cackling of the flames that still surrounded Ponyville, and, Trixie noted, a familiar sound coming from Corona's mane and tail as well. Trixie heard hoofsteps in front of her, and dared to open one eye. As Corona was pacing around her and the mayor, appraising them both, as well as the gathered ponies who were still watching in abject terror, wondering if they were about to witness an execution. Trixie tried not to think. She tried not to think about her future and the innumerable ways that Corona could kill her, many of which would involve fire, all of which would be painful beyond belief, and few that would be quick. She tried not to think about her immediate past, and what she had just seen. Luna, Princess Luna, the immortal ruler of Equestria, her mentor, and in many ways her surrogate parent for the past 10 years, utterly and completely dominated by this monster, a dark and terrible legend come to life, banished to the moon for 1,000 years. Trixie would never see her again, and their last true exchange had been Luna expressing how disappointed she was in Trixie, how she intended to terminate Trixie's apprenticeship. Trixie didn't want to die, but she did want to live up to the standards Luna had set for her, be the pony that Luna had wanted her to be. If that meant offering up her life to Corona for Ponyville, or even just Ponyville's mayor, then so be it. Corona completed her circle of the 2, and settled down on her haunches as she did so, looking between the 2. Madam Mayor, I have no quarrel with thee. Thou shalt leave my presence. The mayor bowed deeply. Either that or her forelegs had given out in relief, but the effect was much the same, and withdrew. Corona turned her blank gaze upon Trixie and leaned forward. Thy name? Corona asked. Trixie Lulamoon, Your Majesty. Trixie responded, keeping her head bowed. Just make it quick, she thought. That's all I'm asking. At thy standing, thou must be a Viscountess at least to hold dominion over so large a settlement. Trixie blinked a few times. She said, her mind whirled. Corona expected her to be a noble. She expected her to be a noble because of how large Ponyville was. Of course, 1,000 years ago, when last Corona was in Equestria, Ponyville would have been considered a decent-sized city, instead of just barely more than a large town. To Corona's blank eyes, Ponyville seemed like a major appointment, where an important noble pony would have been entrusted to oversee it in the name of the princess. But this paled next to the realization that Corona even cared. If all Corona had intended to do was begin the process of immobilizing the members of Luna's government, Trixie would already be dead, and so would the mayor. No, Corona was seeking something else, and it only took a second for Trixie to realize what, keyed in from what she had learned Luna to say to Corona about Corona dragging her court to Sessin, then holding their families hostage to keep them there. Corona may be a despot, a mad alicorn, the tyrant's son, but even she couldn't run a land as large as Equestria all by herself. She needed a court of her own to handle day-to-day affairs, and simply burning away all of Luna's night court was hardly practical, especially if she did want to try and earn the love of ponies everywhere. It would make far more sense to, at least in the short term. I grow impatient, Corona intoned. Trixie glanced up, then bowed her head. Forgive me, she said, and picked a relatively middling noble rank at random. Justice, Your Majesty. Corona's eyes widened slightly. Justice! What crime has been committed by thee to warrant thy apartment here? Trixie winced. Perhaps she sat a little too high, but yes, she could work with this. I had a disagreement with Princess Luna, Your Majesty, over my duties. I felt I could handle more than she was giving me, Trixie said, keeping her head bowed. This appointment was intended as more of a banishment from the night court than anything. Corona considered Trixie, as Trixie once more dared to look at Corona's blank eyes. The white alicorn's emotions were difficult to read thanks to those empty orbs. She had no idea what Corona was thinking, what Corona intended to do with her. At length, the white alicorn spread her wings. Whatever quarrel thou hast with my sister, she said, I believe to be most unfair. 'Twas a brave thing for thee to present thyself before me. No doubt thou believed that thy very life was at stake, due to the lies about me that thou hast heard from my sister. Corona stood. I am not the monster my sister claimed me to be. I am not! She emphasized this point with a flutter of her wings. After a moment of letting her proclamation sink into the Ponyville, she regarded Trixie with an arch look. Equestria has languished under my sister's clumsy hose for far too long. Ever since, she somehow corrupted the elements of harmony and turned them upon me. I shall bring glory to the land once more. She extended her right hoof. Kiss my hoof, Duchess Trixie, and swear allegiance to my reign, now and forever. If I may pause here, you know what I'm thinking right now? I'm thinking General Zod in Superman 2. Lex Luthor, ruler of Australia. Bow. Trixie paused only a moment before doing so. I swear, she promised. It felt like her mouth was full of bile as she did. But if it let her come out this alive, along with every pony in Ponyville, even as she did, however, she struggled to keep her eyes from widening as she struck upon something that Corona had said. The elements of harmony! Of course! No, let me try that again. Of course! All she had to do was make it out of the next few minutes alive, which, as he glanced up at Corona, suddenly seemed unlikely. Corona was regarding her with narrow eyes, wings spread threateningly as she withdrew her hoof. No, the alicorn intoned. No, 'twas too easy somehow. I find it hard to believe that the pony who would lay down her life to save another's would so easily bow before me, no matter her quarrel with my sister or her court. Trixie blinked. I know, Your Majesty. It's just that with Princess Luna gone, Corona said, cutting Trixie off and grinning widely as she believed she understood the source of Trixie's accents. 'Twas not bravery. 'Twas a particular cowardice, and spite for thy former princess, and opportunism. Thou believed that thou would integrate thyself within my new court. Maybe? Trixie asked stupidly. On the other hoof, it certainly made her sound like such a pony as Corona was describing, caught in the act. Corona considered, probably weighing the value of such a pony against the fact that, at the end of the day, she would really need to, for the moment, keep Equestria's infrastructure more or less intact, lest the realm collapse into anarchy. At length, she brightened, stepping back several paces. An idea occurs to me, she said. Thy desires seem genuine enough, but thy loyalty is in question. Still, thou were willing to risk death itself for thy fellow pony. 'Tis evidence of a shred of true nobility in thy veins somewhere. Corona smiled as her horn glowed. Behind Trixie, she heard cries of terror and screams. Turning swiftly, she saw a multitude of ponies wrapped in white auroras, being pulled from the crowd that Corona had assembled and dragged through the air, toward the white alicorn one at a time. Specifically, Corona was grasping foals. No! Trixie cried out, not thinking as her horn glowed brightly, reaching above her and trying to grab at the colts and fillies being dragged to Corona. She was powerless against the alicorn's magic, however. It was possible that Corona didn't even feel her feeble attempts to wrench the kicking, screaming foals from their telekinetic grasp. Trixie wasn't even the only one. Mothers, fathers, brothers, and sisters all tried, with magic if they were unicorns, or barrel hooves and teeth if they weren't, to hold on to their children. But against the tyrant's son, their efforts were wasted. Indeed, they were wrapped in white auroras of their own and pushed back. Trixie's magic failed early, and her heart stopped beating. At the last foal to pass overhead, a gray-coated, yellow-made unicorn filly, who was being held onto tightly by her Pegasus mother. Dizzy Doo's eyes were focused on Dinky Doo's own. Tears staining both their eyes as Corona's magic forced them apart, driving Dizzy Doo back to the crowd and Dinky over to the mad alicorn. Without thinking, Trixie rushed at Dizzy's side, magic and hooves holding the Pegasus back from the charging at Corona. Other ponies tried to do likewise, but Corona only chuckled slightly as she moved away. All in all, Corona had captured at least 50 foals, possibly more. Of course! I shall be too busy at catering to keep a good eye on them. Corona mused aloud. At random, a half-full of other ponies were dragged forward, much as the foals had been, though with less resistance as the Ponyvillians were still trying to recover from their children being stolen. Among them, Trixie saw, was the cream-colored, blue and pink-haired mare friend of Lyra. Corona's eyes narrowed as her horn flared. "Fear not, my subjects!" the tyrant's son said. "They are merely my hostages. They shall ensure the loyalty and stability of this settlement, with the mares and stallions I have taken to keep the colts and fillies in good health." Corona leaned forward, towards Trixie, as the flames around Ponyville finally disappeared. "This shall be thy test. Keep Ponyville ordered and secured, and thou shalt not need fear for thy fellow pony, provided, of course, thou survive thy fellow pony's judgment." With that, Corona beat her wings, taking to the air, and dragging the screaming foals and adult ponies with her. Once she was hovering above Ponyville, she stood as though the air were solid ground, smiling wildly. "Rejoice, my subjects!" Corona called. "Your true queen hath returned! A great celebration! There shall be an unbroken 10 days of glorious sunshine. And on the 10th day, if all has gone as I wish, if I am obeyed, your foes shall be returned to you. If otherwise..." Corona let her sentence hang, feeling no need to complete it. With a burst of light and a strong beat of her wings, she was off, dragging the ponies held in her magical grip behind her. All eyes turned to where Trixie had been holding Dizzy Doo, or at least all the eyes of every pony who wasn't too broken by the events that had just occurred to do anything other than stand in shock or weep. But the unicorn was already gone from sight, as was Dizzy Doo. Oddly, Trixie didn't feel nervous about the fact, with the sun directly overhead, it was essentially midday. Perhaps the suggestion was keyed more into the time of day than the position of the sun. Either that, or she was so terrified right now that mere nervousness over the unnatural midday wasn't capable of registering beyond abstractly noting its absence. Trixie opened the door to her house and closed it, and let the invisibility spell she had wrapped around her and Dizzy Doo, whom she was carrying on her back, slide off them. On seeing Dizzy Doo, she almost wished she hadn't. The Pegasus mare's eyes were wide with panic. She was holding on to Trixie tightly, sobbing without saying onto the unicorn's mane. Ditsy cried out as Trixie made her way into the living room, suddenly finding life in her limbs as her wings began beating frantically, lifting herself off of Trixie's back and straight up. She was stopped only by the room's ceiling and came crashing down to the floor again. Trixie leapt up on top of her before the mare could get to her hooves under her and go racing outside. "Ditsy!" Trixie cried as he held the Pegasus down. "Ditsy, stop! You can't! Get off!" Ditsy interrupted, foreleg lashing out and hitting Trixie squarely in the jaw. The unicorn stumbled backwards, and Ditsy began running. But Trixie was faster and was once again on top of her. "Get off me! I have to save her!" Ditsy cried out. "You can't!" "Yes, I can!" Ditsy shouted, rolling onto her back in order to buck Trixie. The unicorn's horn pulsed with magic and stopped the blow. Then Trixie once again threw herself on top of Ditsy-Do, holding her down. She did not stop struggling again in the slightest. "She's my daughter! I have to save her! I have to!" "You can't!" Trixie replied. She stopped holding Ditsy-Do down, and instead switched to embracing the Pegasus. Unsurprisingly, Ditsy latched onto Trixie, once again crying her eyes out. She wasn't going to run out of tears anytime soon, it seemed. Trixie felt her own eyes watering as well. "I'm sorry," Trixie begged. "I'm sorry. I didn't know Corona would do that. I didn't know. I was just trying to save the mayor. I thought I was going to die, but then I thought I found a way to make it out, and then no pony would be hurt. And I didn't know." The two ponies remained on the floor of Trixie's living room for several minutes, just holding each other. One wrecked with feelings of failure, and the other with guilt. At length, Trixie forced herself to pull away from Ditsy, and got back onto her shaking hooves, her expression dark. "She'll be fine, if..." Trixie began, when the window to her living room exploded in a shower of wooden glass. Trixie's horn flared, but she didn't have time to react as a jasmine blue blur slammed into her, forcing her back against the wall. Trixie's eyes widened as they locked at the raindrops' own. Wait! The unicorn started. "There's maybe about 15 seconds before half of Ponyville arrives here." Raindrops interrupted as she pulled away from Trixie. Trixie began to speak, but the weather pony's hoof was near instantly in her mouth, shutting her up. "You, Terratops, run!" Trixie blinked once and shocked, before survival instinct kicked in. She cast her familiar invisibility and silence spell combo, enlisting a slightly raised eyebrow from raindrops at the sight of her being erased from the visible spectrum, before dashing off as fast as her hooves could take her. On her way out of her home, through the same hole that raindrops had made while entering, she saw the mobs of ponies approaching her out, cries of traitor and monster on their lips. The mob was surprisingly small. Then again, she supposed that a large number of ponies would still be paralyzed in fear and terror over what had just happened. Despite no pony being able to see her, being so particularly safe, Trixie ran for her life from Ponyville. Carrot Top jumped as her door opened and closed of its own accord not long after she arrived home herself with Lyra and Tirley, and was startled again when a blue-coated, white-maned, purple-clad unicorn appeared from nowhere, only a few feet away from her. She looked to Carrot Top. "Hi," Trixie began, but she found herself seized in a golden magical aurora and hurled upwards into the ceiling of Carrot Top's living room. "You!" Lyra, still wearing her white and gold dress, exclaimed, charging forward despite a magenta Earth Pony's attempts to stop her. It's your fault! Bonbon's been kidnapped! I'll never see her again, and it's your fault! Trixie grunted, her own horn flashing and shoving Lyra's telekinesis off her. She managed to fall from the ceiling and land on her hooves without a problem, and both Carrot Top and Cheerilee managed to stop Lyra's attempts to abandon telekinesis and use her bare hooves on Trixie. The blue unicorn nevertheless began backing away, but then the door opened again, and Raindrops entered, half carrying a still distraught Dizzy-Doo with her. The jasmine-coated Pegasus glared at Trixie as he did, closing the door firmly behind her before taking in a few deep breaths and letting them out slowly. Trixie looked around at the situation. Lyra had stopped trying to cause grievous harm to Trixie, instead falling to her knees and crying, with Cheerilee beside her, holding her. Dizzy-Doo was at least as distraught. Trixie made her way to the Grey Pegasus and took a familiar role as Cheerilee for Lyra, before looking to Raindrops and Carrot Top. Okay, why are you helping me? You were trying to save the mayor, Raindrops observed. Just about every pony in Ponyville's too angry and too scared to see that right now. But I know that's what you were trying to do. Her eyes narrowed then, and she leaned close to Trixie. Right? Because if Corona was right, and you're really just kissing her fight to save your behind! No! Trixie interrupted. Not, I was trying to save the mayor. I was ready to die, but then Corona asked me about my noble title, and I realized that she wanted me alive because she was going to need to keep the government intact in order to actually run Equestria, and I thought I saw a way out. A way for me to survive, and the mayor of Ponyville to survive, and every pony to make it out just okay. I didn't know she kidnapped ponies! Trixie hugged Dizzy-Doo tighter at that, as the mayor's tears resumed with an even greater vigor. She glared at Raindrops. But why are you helping me? You, a Carrot Top. You two hate me! Princess Luna told me so! Raindrops jabbed a hoof at Cheerilee. The magenta pony blinked a few times, looking between the 5 ponies. I saw what you were doing, she said. With the mayor, trying to save her. I heard what you were saying, and I know you were just trying to make it out okay. But every pony was getting so mad. I heard from Princess Luna that you and Raindrops knew each other, so I got her, and got Lyra, and Lyra suggested Carrot Tops, and we were going to help you since the residency wouldn't be safe for you. But then Corona took the falls. But I thought you hated me. I thought you all hated me. That doesn't mean we want to see you mobbed. Not even Raindrops. The Jasmine Pegasus whickered. No, you're mine. Besides, Cheerilee said, I know you were just trying your best to make the festival a good. So, what do we do? Carrot Top interrupted suddenly, as the situation became too much for her. She began to pace in place. Corona's free, Princess Luna is gone, and I'm harboring a traitor to Equestria. I am not a traitor. You look like one. Carrot Top countered. Even though you're not, you look like one. And they're going to search all the houses in Ponyville, and they'll find you, and lynch you, and lynch me for harboring you, and then Corona's going to get mad and kill all the... Carrot Top's ranting was stopped by Raindrops suffering a hoof in her mouth. A long silence began, interrupted only by the gasping sobs of Dizzy-Doo and Lyra. That's not going to happen, Trixie intoned after a while. Corona won't kill any pony. I'll just hide for as long as it takes for Ponyville to calm down. Corona says she returned every pony as long as Ponyville obeyed all her commands. All that needs to happen is that for me not to be stupid and run into the Everfree. Why would you go there? Trixie grimaced, looking down. I thought I could get the... Never mind. Nothing. Forget I said anything. No. Raindrops said, stomping forward. Get what? What are you talking about? Trixie looked up. Raindrop's eyes were narrow as she regarded Trixie. The unicorn stared for a long moment before letting out a sigh. Okay, she said. Technically, this is a state secret, but it's not in any law books or official orders or anything. It's just something that only me and Princess Luna and maybe a few others know, okay? Raindrops nodded. Trixie looked at each of the 4 remaining ponies. Lyra and Dizzy Doo were still mostly lost in their sadness, while Carrot Top and Cheerilee also nodded in understanding. Sighing, Trixie pressed on. Well, I was talking to Corona, but before she took the falls, I thought I knew of some way to get rid of her. I thought I'd go get the elements of harmony. Carrot Top blinked a few times. You wanted to go to Canterlot? She exclaimed. Well, there's a good chance Corona is going to set everything on fire! Trixie shook her head. The elements aren't in Canterlot. Yes, they are. Cheerilee objected, standing, though she remained close to Lyra. They're on display in the palace. I have seen them. We went there on a field trip when I was a little filly. Lyra and all the other unicorns kept going on about how much magic was coming off of them. Those aren't the elements, Trixie explained. They're fakes. The 6 random gemstones that Princess Luna pours tons of magic into every year to make them seem like they're the elements. I only know because my special talent is magic, and I've got a really good feel for magic too. And after I started my apprenticeship with Luna, and she taught me to detect magic spell, I used it to cast on everything. I cast it on Luna once when she raised the moon, and I went blind for 3 days from how much magic she lets out while doing that. But when I cast it on the elements, I didn't even get a headache. I thought that was weird, they're the elements and all. And when I asked Princess Luna about it, she showed me the Prail elements. Cheerilee blinked. But why would Princess Luna lie about that? Because the real elements are petrified rocks, Trixie said. They're in the Everfree Forest, in the ruins of the Palace of the Royal Pony Sisters. After Luna banished Corona to the sun, they just went inert. It kind of froze in place. No force, not even Luna herself can move them. Luna didn't want every pony to know that, so she made the fakes. So she just left the real ones unguarded. Why? Trixie grimaced. Not exactly unguarded. There's traps, and of course they're in the middle of the Everfree, and of all of its monsters. As for why, Princess Luna didn't say. But as a guess, I say she didn't ever want to have to go back to where she fought Tyrant's son. Trixie stood her mane. I thought that if I could get to the elements of harmony, I might some way of getting them free and using them on Corona. But not now. Not while she has those hostages. No, Raindrops said. She wasn't looking at Trixie, but rather down at the ground. Eyes moving as little as though reading. No, we have to go now. Now's the perfect time. What? The 5 other ponies in the room demanded, with Trixie appending a, and where's this we coming from? to her intestine. Raindrops looked between them. Corona has her hose full right now, she pointed out. That's why she took all those mares and stallions with her, remember? To keep an eye on the foals. She has a government to overthrow and bring over to her side. She'll probably have to do a repeat of what she did with Trixie and most other towns and cities in Equestria. At least until she forces every pony to bow to her. Plus, there's the Royal Guard. They can't win, Carrot Top objected, shaking her head morosely at the thought. But they'll fight anyway, Raindrops pointed out. They'll be buying us time without even knowing. If the elements can work it out at all, then now is our chance to get them. But Corona, Lyra objected, while she and Dizzy stood. Corona will kill Bonbon and all those foals if she finds out what we're doing. Raindrops fixed Lyra with a sad look, then turned to Dizzy as well. If we wait, then we'll never get this opportunity again. One of the first things Corona is going to do, once he gets the chance, is check out where every pony thinks the elements are. As he realizes they're fakes, she'll start hunting for the real ones. And the first place you look for something is the last place you saw it. She looked between the 5 ponies. Come on! We all know the stories about Corona, the legends, what she's like. We've seen what she's capable of. We saw what she did to Princess Luna. Those ponies she kidnapped won't be safe until Corona is back in the sun where she belongs. But where's this we coming from? Trixie repeated, stepping forward. It's too dangerous. I wasn't even thinking of asking any pony to come with me. Raindrop snorted. Like you managed to last 5 minutes in the Everfree by yourself. Not the point! I know. I also know that now I know that there's a chance of stopping Corona. I couldn't live with myself if I didn't at least try. Trixie searched the Pegasus' face. Despite her words and tone, her expression remained surprisingly neutral. Fine! I could use a set of wings anyway. The rest of you, I'm coming too. Shirley said, stepping forward. Those foes are my students, or a lot of them are anyway, and I have to try and save them. Trixie began to object when Carrot Top stepped forward. Me too. I know a lot about the flora of the three forests. I might be able to help you. Trixie looked between the 3 ponies. Okay, see acquaintance. So the 4 of us. I'm coming too. Lyra interrupted, wiping the tears from her eyes. Raindrops is right. Bonbon won't be saved unless Corona is sealed away again. Plus, Trixie, your special talent might be magic, but I actually went to the Magic Academy. I think I might be able to help with freeing the elements. Fine, Trixie said, shaking her head. Fine, Dizzy do. I guess you should go home and I'm already at the door. Dizzy Doo's voice said. Every pony turned to look at her. Her wings were no longer sagging with sorrow, but were instead held at the ready. And her face, though eyes still red from tears and walled, was set with a look of determination. I'm coming too. Dizzy Doo would want me to try and save her. Trixie blinked, looking between the 5 ponies. No, she said in a small voice, though it was louder for her next proclamation. For some reason, she felt she had to try to stop them. Stop this madness. No! This is stupid! We're going to get every pony killed! Fine, Raindrop said. We still got Lyra for unicorn magic. The 5 of us will go into Everfree. You can stay behind. Trixie blinked. Are you trying to use reverse psychology on me? Raindrop's expression looked clearly asked, do I look like the kind of pony who tried that? Even though she herself remained silent. Instead, Charlie stepped up to Trixie. No pony will blame you, she said. You must have to be close to Princess Luna. If you don't think you can handle this right now, we'll understand. Trixie recoiled a little. She managed to not think about Princess Luna so sadly thrashed by the corona. Not to think about the fact that Luna was gone, sealed away for a millennium, for several minutes now. The image of Corona's magic sending Luna away in the white comet, straight into the sky, came rushing back to her. Even if they won, even if they somehow, against all odds, got the elements, figured out how to make them work, and then used them on Corona, would that bring Luna back? Trixie looked at Lyra and Dizzy Doo. The former had lost the love of her life. The latter had lost her daughter. Both were willing to put everything on the line nonetheless. Luna would never forgive her if she didn't act. And just as importantly, Trixie would never be able to forgive herself. Trixie didn't consider herself a principled mare. But whatever principles she did have, now was the time to be honest with herself about them. Trixie grimaced as she looked at each of the ponies in the eye. She had been horrible to them over the past few days. Well, not Dizzy Doo so much, but certainly Lyra, Raindrops, Charlie, and Carrot Top. But these ponies were still willing to go on with what she said to try and save Equestria from the mad alicorn queen now trying to take it over. She had been willing to try and help her from every pony in Ponyville landing on her like a ton of bricks. I'm going to, she said, and I'm sorry. I'm sorry for the last few days. I'm sorry for the way I treated you all. I'm sorry for the weather for hire ponies, for the blackmail, for calling you useless, for butting in where I wasn't wanting, for manipulating you to do what I wanted to try, and get back at Luna for something stupid that was all in my head. Trixie looked down. I'm sorry. If this all goes to the sun, I just want you to know that. The other ponies looked between each other. After a moment, Charlie, Dizzy Doo, Carrot Top, and Lyra all nodded. Just don't do it again, Charlie said, provided there is a Ken for us. Trixie nodded once before looking hopefully at Raindrops. The Pegasus stared at Trixie for a long moment, analyzing her. For once in her life, or at least for the first time in a long time, Trixie really let the emotions she was feeling display for themselves on her face. Alright, the Pegasus declared at length, waving a hoof as still casting off a murderous intent she possessed earlier in the day. But if you ever do something like this again, I'm going to hit you hard. Fine by me. As hard as you want. Raindrops nodded as he headed toward the door to Carrot Top's house. I'm holding you to that, she promised. Okay, here's something I do for my live reads that is going to be unique. Sometimes I like to suggest different music to play, and then from this moment, for the moment of them all forgiving Trixie and them getting ready to rush off to save the day, I suggest playing the acoustic version of Aviator's Heroes. This feels so right. Well, see you next chapter, where the tests can finally begin. And for those of you who have never seen the Lunaverse before, please, in the comments below, put down who you think is going to be which element. I mean, I already know because I read this fic before, but I'm curious as to where you're going. Bye.